So as we promised, today we are going to see the function failures and the function modes for one specific example, to see that it's really an easy job to get the function failures and to get the function modes, and we are not intending to make something that's some sophisticated or something like that. So we will take one example and demonstrate the functions about it. So we are going to speak about one distribution panel. So when we are thinking of our distribution panel, we need to think what we need to enclose in our study for this distribution panel. So the distribution panel is having the front doors, it's having the internal breakers, it's having the internal distribution bus bars, is having the indications on the top of the panel itself, it's having the incoming cable, the outgoing cable, what we are going to include or in this study or what we are not going to include in this study. We need to make our mind, so we include the function and the function failures based on what we are going to study or in our analysis. Okay, so let's start directly with stating the main function and some secondary functions about this distribution panel. We said that studying a bump skid, studying a compressor or something like that is usually common. You will find it in the lectures out there on the YouTube, on in other trainings. Also you may find some very interesting that's probing questions. You can use it yourself to study it. For example, you study the function failures and the failure modes for something on your desk, like that desk lamp or like the stapler or like whatever you like to study. That's just keep it for yourself. You can try it like as now while you are sitting watching this video. You can think about anything you are using and think about the function failures and function failure modes, and you apply what we are saying. So let's start directly. So the main function of a distribution panel is to provide the electrical power. So it might provide, not providing totally the electrical power, or might not providing the electrical power to some of the loads. That's two function failures. Also, there's the safe enclosing the electrical power distribution inside. So it's either it's not providing the electrical parts, internal parts are exposed. That's a function failure, or some rodents or some rain or humidity or something like that can enter inside the panel. So like this, it's not performing its secondary function of safely enclosing the panel. What other secondary function can be there? It's providing clear feedback of the status of the breakers or any tripping or running or on or switched on or off or something like that. So there may be no indications at all on the front of the panel, or maybe there are some indications or some labeling is worn out. So that's a failure. So the labels, if it's worn out or the lamp is worn out, that indicates the panel is switched on or off. That's a failure or partial failure of a secondary function. It's not preventing the main function of the panel. Still the loads are supplied, but I cannot get the status of the panel itself. Also, it's allow safe isolating or tag out or locking out or isolating for maintenance or whatever you like to call it. So either it cannot use to isolate individual loads, so it's either the complete loads or not, or it's difficult to apply the lockout and tag out. So all these are some sorts of failure functions or to this secondary, or failures to these secondary functions. Also, it protects the mechanical load that is supplied. So it's from sudden loads, from overloads, and so on. So there is no protection in case of stalled motor, for example, or the mechanical load is failed before. Even if this protection exists, the mechanical load fails before the circuit breakers or the distribution panel takes an action to protect the mechanical load. Also, there is auto switching off in case of earth leakage or in case of electrical current leakage. So the operators can feel some surges. That's a function failure. So we should protect the operators, but they feel some electrical surges in the body of the machine. This can be due to earthing. That's from the failure modes, can be due to earthing, can be due to no earth protection provided, and so on. So limiting the electrical power withdrawn from the upstream source. So this distribution panel is receiving some electrical power from an upstream source. So there may be no, it's not limiting the power that I withdraw from the upstream panel. So the function failure in this case, that the upstream panel fails, okay, while this panel was still switched on. So we have seen here in this simple analysis one main failure, 6 secondary failures, and around 12 function failures. You can add a lot to them, and we are going to see around 48 failure modes. You can add to these failure modes your own view of failure modes due to some circumstances or conditions, environmental conditions of this specific panel you are studying. It's exposed to heat, it's exposed to moving loads, exposed to trucks, exposed to constructions in this area, exposed to whatever. There are some chemicals or vapors that can enter inside the panel or damage the front of the panel, some carbon dust, whatever. There are a lot of reasons that you can consider each panel as an individual panel, that you can study its special conditions that's different from the other panels. And for the common panels, you can use some common analysis. So let's go to the failure modes. Now, so if we say that the main function is to providing electrical power, a function failure can be totally not providing the electrical power. What can be the causes? So we said that the modes are the causes. The main circuit breaker is tripped, the main circuit breaker is not switched on, the upper circuit breaker, upper stream circuit breaker is not switched on or tripped, or some problem in the coordination between the breakers, like the mechanical interlocking or something like that, is preventing its turning on or tripping it when some load is started or something like that. Partially not providing, so one of the breakers is not switching on. So this specific breaker can be tripped, cannot be switched on. Some cables are having problems, it's not connected at all, the cables, due to after the maintenance day or something like that. So safely enclosing the electrical power distribution itself. Okay, so the door can be open, the door maybe it's broken, maybe the door cannot be closed, maybe the panel itself is worn out. Okay, and the rodents can enter to, and the rain can enter to the panel itself. Panel itself is not sealed, the panel inlet is not sealed, outlet is not sealed, its panel is damaged due to some accident, hit by a moving load or something like that. So all these are failure modes or failure causes that I need to prevent or protect the panel from them, so I prevent the function failure. So you need to know the failure mode, so you take an action in the failure mode, so you prevent the function failure itself. So providing also clear feedback, so there is no feedback at all, there's a problem of design, so I need to make a redesign, or the indications or lamps are worn out, so wrong material, they are not protected, they are not repaired, there is no spares, there is no maintenance activity for this. So a lot of modes or can be, or a lot of causes can be for this secondary function failure. Also provide availability to isolate for maintenance. So there might be the panel can be not designed to make safe protection. Loads are directly bolted to the bus bars, so you cannot make some safe protection. Some of the sheet panels are like this. There is main switch handle on the top, so you either switch off the complete panel, you cannot switch off the individual loads. The panels and so on, they cannot apply lockout and tag out. So there's the holes or the places to insert some bad lock or something like that to lock the breaker in the off mode is not available on the breaker itself, or if it is wrong size, or the tools that I had purchased for the lockout and tag out are of wrong size. All these can be reasons why I'm not providing lockout and tag out for maintenance or for safely maintenance the loads that are provided from this panel. Also, as we said, the overload or sudden motor stalled or something like that. Maybe there is no protection. Maybe the protections are hidden fields. Maybe it's wrong setting for the protection itself. Also switching off in case of earth leakage. Maybe there is no earth leakage. Earth leakage is hidden field. The earth cables is having a problem. The earth is not, or grounding is not properly connected to the machine or to the panel itself or to the breaker or to the supplying power, limiting the power withdrawn from the main load. This can be due to some hidden failure, to the wrong setting, to many modes you can take out, and you can analyze each one of them. If you find that any of this resonates with you, you can join our trainings on Udemy. You'll find the link in the description box, or you can ask for some customized coaching or consultancy. Also, you will find the links in the description box. See you in coming lectures and chats with more insights from reliability-centered maintenance and how to jumpstart your maintenance career.